Hello, listeners. This is Dana Kitui from Kenya School of TVET, and you're listening to the Cooking Methods podcast. On this episode, we will go into details on various cooking methods for people who love cooking. And today, we are lucky to have a guest on studio who is an expert in culinary arts. She has worked with various organizations and companies and having won many awards in the food industry. So let's give her a chance to introduce herself. Welcome, Madam.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, and thank you for hosting me today. I don't take it for granted. I am Madam Rose, an expert in the food industry, having worked with different organizations and companies for more than 20 years. And I'm really glad to be hosted in this podcast. Thank you, Madam Diana.
Thank you, Madam, for your response. Your introduction was very brief and detailed. So, Madam, from your point of view, what do you understand by the term cooking methods? And can you list some examples of the cooking methods with their descriptions and uses?
Okay, cooking methods are basically various methods for cooking, most of which have been known for a long time. They include baking, and baking is cooking food using dry heat in an oven. It can be used for making bread, cakes, and so on. Another method is roasting. And roasting is cooking food with dry heat in an oven, usually at higher temperatures than boiling. Okay, boiling is cooking food in water or broth at its boiling point. And it is used in pasta, rice, vegetables, and eggs. Another method of cooking is steaming. And steaming is cooking food with steam from boiling water. It is used in vegetables, fish, and seafood. Another method is poaching. And poaching is cooking food gently in water or broth at a temperature below boiling point. It is used in egg, fish, and chicken.
Thank you, Madam, on expounding on the various cooking methods. Let's just look on a few methods that are a bit complex, that is baking and roasting. I know baking is very fun, but sometimes very technical. If you miss a step, then you destroy the whole procedure. So, Madam, I would like you to mention a few tips on baking.
Okay, tips on baking are: first, start with the correct ingredients. And before you start baking, you need to make sure you have the right ingredients. Measure ingredients accurately and combine ingredients before mixing. I think that's what you can do in.
Thank you, Madam, for educating us. I also didn't know that you need to measure your ingredients before mixing while making a cake. So before we close our show, I would like you to give us some remarks and tell our listeners something. Welcome, Madam.
Okay, thank you, listeners, for taking time to listen to this podcast. It was a great pleasure to be hosted on this show because my passion is always to make people have knowledge and skills in cooking. Until we meet again on the next episode, have a great time.
Thank you, Madam, so much for listening. Thank you, Madam, so much. And thank you, listeners, for listening to this show. It wouldn't be possible without you. And please remember to leave your review on the link. Until our next episode, have a great time.